Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Business Growth Show, where we talk about all components of business and how to utilize them for exponential growth. My name is Athin Cassiotis. I'm a serial entrepreneur, international speaker, results strategist, business coach, mentor, and consultant. Today, I have an awesome guest. She's an entrepreneur, speaker, and business coach for coaches. She's a certified Master NLP Coaching, Hypnosis, and Timeline Therapy practitioner, and she helps coaches make their first 10K month in under 90 days. Welcome, Paula Day, and thank you for being on my show.
Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome, Paula. I'm sure it's going to be amazing with everything you're going to be sharing with us today. So you're a very successful entrepreneur. So for those people who don't know who you are, please introduce yourself by telling us about you and your journey.
Sure. I'd love to tell you a little bit about my journey. So I wasn't always an entrepreneur, although I did have a bit of a business mind starting off as a very small child. I definitely had a business mind. And I started off and I started off as an accountant. I was born to be an accountant, apparently, because whatever I decided to say to my parents, I want to be a hairdresser, I want to be this, I want to be that, they would just chuck the word accountant after it. So it just went into my head over and over again. Ended up studying accounting, of course, and working my way up in that career really, really fast. Ended up on billion-dollar projects, ended up leading some really big teams and doing some amazing things. But I sort of crept all the way to the top. And I remember sitting there in this beautiful office looking out over the city, like this corner view. It's like people would die for this spot, you know. And I just thought, what's next? Like, what is that next thing? Because the next thing for me is that they would own all of my time and I would just never get to see my kids. I had 3 kids at the time and I was in a relationship that wasn't going so great. I was thinking, gosh, I was waking up and I would Google search how to be happy. That's what I would search for. And so in my search for how to be happy, I went on a number of different journeys and ended up on a personal development journey and starting a t-shirt business. Would you believe it? So started a t-shirt business to start off with, and that started to do really well. In fact, my t-shirts started to do so well that they ended up on the top 10 pages of Amazon. And so, as you can imagine, I've got this amazing job, but I've also got these t-shirts making me money in my sleep, but I still wasn't happy. I really wasn't happy. And I was searching for that next thing. And I went as I was searching for that, my marriage was really breaking down. And I'd signed, I'd already signed with a coach. I was working with a coach with my t-shirt business, but I just knew she wasn't going to take me to that next level. Like, I needed something more, and I didn't know what that more was, but I just needed to do something more. And I knew it wasn't going to be in the corporate space because I felt that I wanted to be there for my kids. Now, I've got 3 kids. The eldest one has a couple of disabilities. And so I remember being in a meeting, and it was just like prepping someone for Parliament. Now, this is some kind of meeting that you can't just say, hey, look, I need to go home because my kid's sick. My kid was having a full-on meltdown out front of his school, and no one was there to help him. I was 45 minutes away and there's no way I could get there. I had to beg my parents to go get him, so they thought it was just so silly. I couldn't be there in his moment of need, and that was really annoying me, that I was going to have many more of those moments where I was just going to be owned by the corporation. So I decided that I had to do something on my own. I had to move out of that. And I hired a coach, but I hired a coach in the midst of going through a divorce. In fact, I decided to leave my husband, and it was years in the making to get to that point of unhappiness. And when I finally worked up that courage to say goodbye, I thought it was all very amicable. Yeah, okay, well, he seems to think it's a good idea as well. That's great. We're on the same page here. We'll just work this out. We're 2 smart people. And I went to sleep. I got up to look at my t-shirt business as I did in the morning, and I couldn't get in. All the passwords were changed. I had the whole account in his name. I went, oh my gosh. I went to check my bank account, and everything was gone, or my money was gone. I was so silly. Now, if you're in a relationship and you haven't got a separate bank account, just go and get one now. I was that silly person who thought she was so smart, who didn't have one. And I found myself walking away from that relationship with a car, my kids, and pretty much what I could carry. I think I took a box of Barbie dolls for my daughter. I went to my parents' house. I drove there. I remember, just borrowing some money. My mum had like a 50 in her wallet. I took that, put a bit in my car for petrol, a bit on my train ticket, and I got to my next thing. I was a presenter. So I knew that, I had some money coming in. It just wasn't coming in for a couple of weeks. And I had to get through. That was probably the toughest couple of weeks that I went through. And I went through about another tough 7 months to get myself back on track. And I remember sitting like in my lounge room. I didn't really have any furniture, but I had flip charts because of course I present, and texters. And it was just at that point where I'm like, I got out there and I'd started dating again. And I was just meeting wrong guy after wrong guy after wrong guy. And it was just at that point where I did what most people do. And I just went, you know what? There are no guys out there for me. I'm done with men, and I'm just going to shut down all of the apps. I'm not doing this. And I decided at the same time too that I would also get rid of my entire friendship group because they were also not great for me. And so I found myself on the floor with my flip charts thinking, what am I going to do? I don't like this job. I'm still not happy. And I rang my coach. And my coach is like, well, what have you been doing for years? You've been coaching and leading people for years. What does it always boil down to? I said, well, relationships. He's like, well, you've been coaching people on relationships for years. After that conversation, I got off the phone and it was like this program poured out of me onto the paper. That program was my first program around love and relationships. And it did so well. It actually did really, really well overseas and got picked up, and I became an international coach on relationship coaching fairly quickly. And then as that progressed, I was utilizing my skills on myself as well. I met the man of my dreams, Johnny. We ended up having, well, he had 2 kids full time. So we ended up having a family of 5 coming together. And I found myself launching into this business and saying goodbye to the corporate world, and really saying yes and being all in on this business while we went through COVID and the lockdown. So we just moved in together. So I had 5 school age kids homeschooling, while Johnny was an essential worker. So he's an electrician, he's gone, and he had work, always had work. And I was there running a business while this was going on. And as I was doing that, my business was transitioning. Lots of people, a lot of my clients were saying, hey, look, I want to do what you've done. I want to learn how to make my business. I want to learn how to be a coach. I want to learn how to do what you do. And so I ended up transitioning into the business side, which just seemed to be logical for me because I'd spent about 16 years in business anyway. And so that's where I am now. Long story.
All good, Paula. What an amazing story there. And I think that everyone can learn so much about that and all the different challenges, in life, in the relationships with the kids, just so many different things about happiness from that. So that's really amazing. So thank you for starting that to, for this podcast episode today, which I'm sure everyone's going to love as we dig deeper into it now. So you mentioned you've obviously got over 16 years business experience in those business leadership management roles that you initially did. So, what key lessons did you learn from them as you were doing those facilitating and everything?
Oh gosh. very tough lessons especially in the corporate space. I was thrown into some really tough challenges, and anyone who's been sort of through leadership in corporate knows that, you know, they're going to put you through some pretty rigorous training on coaching and leadership as well, to make sure that you are doing a really great job and bringing the team along in a really great way. So I had to learn all those tough lessons of really how to bring a team together, of different people, how to get the most out of people, how to work remotely, because I was running teams that were across the state. So I had, you know, different people in different locations. So making sure that we had processes and systems in place, and how to analyze data really, really fast. Because as I said, like, finished up my career at the end of it doing a lot of work for government and parliament. And so analyzing data really fast for questions that they might have or things that they might want to report on. So having to just like find data and then bring it together and then be able to explain that in a way that people would understand it. And so it was just so much lessons, so many lessons that I learned in that, but a lot of it around people, around leadership, and around coaching. And I remember the first time, I think I was quite young, my manager threw a book on my desk and said, "You're going to learn coaching." And I went, "I don't even know what that is." Like, what is that? You know, and I'm pretty sure I had a lot of ego and a lot of pride at that point, thinking I was top shit. But I had to learn these steps and really learn to be the best coach and leader in those spaces. And in the end, I was the one who's going in and being asked to come into some pretty difficult teams, to bring those teams together to get them to a place where they were performing well.
Yeah, love that. Awesome lessons. And sometimes putting in the deep end or having to grow, you know, to be able to succeed in those roles. So that's really awesome. And then, you know, as you mentioned, you initially started your coaching business as a relationship coach. So do you want to maybe tell us a little bit more about that? Because I'm sure everybody here, you know, could have a better relationship. I think no relationship is perfect, right? Some are better than others, depending on how it is. So do you want to maybe tell us initially how you are able to help people foster better relationships as well?
Oh, absolutely. So I went into this, you know, because I was going through that journey. I was going through the journey, and I had applied this and started to meet some incredible men, and of course met Johnny, who's just, you know, we're just brilliant together. I love him to bits, and our family together. And so I wanted everyone else to have this experience. I didn't want people to be stuck in a relationship like I felt I was, thinking, you know what, this is it. This is how it's supposed to be. Yeah, it's supposed to not feel that great, and have all of these thoughts around what it just has to be like. Instead, it could be really, really brilliant. And so I had to learn a bit more about myself. I had to learn more about stepping into my feminine and allowing the men to step into their masculine. And that was a big thing for me, especially in the line of work that I'd been through, being so in my masculine. And I think this is a big thing for many women, that they're so in their masculine, and we're raised like that in this society. And a lot of men are being raised in a way to be really quite feminine. And even if we look at the media that we're grown up with, like the media over the last few decades, you know, Seinfeld, I'm trying to think of all the Friends, like the men are portrayed in ways which are really quite feminine, right? And so we've got these roles that we're stepping into and playing through media, through what we're seeing in relationships, and they're not always great for a really great relationship. And so learning that, and then applying that, and being able to teach that, going in and coach people through developing beautiful relationships so that they can recognize what a great relationship is, and they can cultivate that going forward.
Yeah, love that. Really powerful. And yeah, so important. So interesting how, TV shows like shape us, but not necessarily in the right ways. They may be funny at the time, but yes, it's like, who are we modeling ourselves on, right? In different areas. So it's awesome that you're able to make those changes and help others. And as we're transitioning into business now, and you talk about, building relationships is obviously extremely important in business, right? Because that's how we do business with people. Whether in obviously a career or you're in an actual business working with people. So, how has the relationship knowledge now, experience, and what you've done in business helped you to build better business relationships as well?
Yeah, I love this question. It's so important, isn't it, to build authentic relationships in business, because we want to be here for a long time. We want to be here making a really important impact on the world. And I always think if I help someone in this coaching space, they not only help another client, they help that client in their interactions with the people around them. It might be their employer, their employees, it could be their partner, it could be their children. It's changing, like it's having an exponential change and a generational change in society for this particular career. So relationships are really, really important, and coming from that authentic space of service, like going in for the right reasons. Sometimes we go into relationships out of fear, and we don't want to be coming from that fear zone. We want to be coming from it from that authentic place of service, that place of love, that place of wanting to do the right thing for that person.
Yeah, love that. Completely agree. And people can feel that, right? Like, that intuition, that gut feeling, whatever we say, right? Sometimes you're like, I don't know about this person sometimes because they may have an ulterior motive. But when someone goes in genuinely, you're like, I don't know why, but I like this person, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. So many people like to complain, unfortunately, about their career, their family situation, and all these things. It's sort of like trauma bonding, which we want to stay away from where possible, right? Their business, affects their business, whatever it is, all these different factors, especially when they're growing their businesses, right? Now you were building your coaching business while you're working full time, you're homeschooling 5 children. There's all these things going on, right? And you're still doing a lot of this, right, today. And so there really is no excuses, I think, for most people out there with, what you've done, Paula, with the expert juggler, so to speak. So how do you do it all and transitioning, into your business full time as well?
Yeah, I think, look, it's a great question. And it's a place that I did play in that blind space for many years before I sort of found the personal development and realized that I had to take that extreme ownership of where I was at. Like I had to take ownership for all of it. Okay, yep, I've got kids. I chose that. I've got a relationship. I chose that. I've got, at the time, I haven't got a job as well. I've got my business. However, at the time when I was transitioning from that space, I had a job which was quite a big job. And it's really, I can say it's really tough, to give up a well-paid job where you've got a lot of recognition, people love you there, and go into your own business. It can feel scary taking that step, right? And because we want certainty. We want certainty in, what's coming in, and a lot of people want the certainty of the paycheck, right? So you've got the certainty of the paycheck, but then you've got you've got your business that you're building as well. So it's a lot of time and effort there. And then of course, you probably all got families as well. Like what I did, I was homeschooling the kids. I was running, the team, and I also had, my business as well on top of that. So I just had to take extreme ownership. And for me, that meant, okay, all right, if I have to get up at 4:30, if I have to get up at 5, that's what it means. If I can't get, if I don't have time to go to somebody's house because, it's a housewarming or it's a birthday party or something, I don't have time. I had to take extreme ownership that I wanted to do this transition, and it was going to take effort and it was going to take time, but I was committed to it. And I was committed to it because I could not do it running side by side anymore. It was just too much effort. I sat there and thought, is this a hobby or is this a business? And if it's a business, I need to take extreme ownership and go all in and work this out. And to be able to go all in and work this out, I needed certainty. And the way I got certainty was having my coach in my corner, so I could go, at least I know what I'm doing is right. At least I can check in. If I've got a problem, I can ask my coach. So I got my certainty in that space. I also had my quit figure. You know, I'm an accountant by trade. I do not recommend like going all in without, you know, having a good chunk of money there just in case something goes wrong. So, you know, having your quit figure, knowing what that is, and knowing that when you reach that point, that's when you can go.
Yeah, love that.
Your question?
Yeah, definitely. Very cool, right? And so important, because, you know, some people, you need that, you know, you want a cushion, because you would know as well, you know, business isn't just an upward trajectory, right? Especially at the start, there's a lot of bumps along the road, you know, cash flow differences depending on what happens. So yeah, we need some assistance there from ourselves, you know, mostly where possible. So you don't have to rely on others to help us along that journey. So love that, Paula. Really great, you know, points there. So now you're obviously helping coaches make their first 10K month in under 90 days. You know, if someone's just starting their coaching business, what are some of the key things they need to do initially?
Yeah, so if you're starting out, it can be so overwhelming, and you can see all of these like different ways to start and think that you need to do them all. Like you might think, I need to be on Instagram, I need to be on LinkedIn, I need to have an email funnel, I need to have ads, and I need to be learning how to do a funnel. And it can just get really overwhelming. Or you could be sitting down just wasting a lot of your time focused on the wrong things. And so we want to make sure that we're focused on the things that are actually going to build your business and make your business profitable. And those things are making sure that you've got your business set up properly, making sure that you're consistent in your business. So what I see with a lot of coaches is they go in and they start off very consistently with their content, and then they don't know what to post. They don't know what to post because they don't really know who their ideal client is. Like they think they do, but they don't really know. So having that deeper knowledge of exactly who you're serving will help with that, so that we're not taking a break, we're not moving away and stopping all of our content delivery, because it's really important that our business stays open. It's kind of like, I guess, a coffee shop. I always say this to my students, kind of like a coffee shop, right? And I love this coffee shop I've got. And I go up there and, you know, the doors were down, the roller doors were down. I'm like, well, I guess they're having a day off, or, you know, something's happened. Maybe something's happened. So I come back the next day, the roller doors are still down. I'm like, well, you know what? Maybe something's happened, a leak, whatever. Come back the next day, the doors are still down. I'm like, well, I know they had great muffins, but I'm going to go down the street now because I need to find coffee. And when I walk into that new place, I'm going to find something about that place that I love. And I'll probably never go back to that old place. And so having coaches, you know, when they stop doing their content, it's kind of like putting those roller doors down. And it's like saying, we're shut. And all your audience that you've built up is like looking for your content, and all of a sudden they found someone else. Just like that. So we want to make sure that we've got the consistency, we know who we serve, and that we're focused on the right things in our business. Like you can be guided and you can be focused on all the wrong areas. You want to be making sure you're sticking to a very clear plan, which is why I do like a 90-day plan. That's my 90-day pathway with all of my students, so that they're sticking to a pathway that's meant for them, so that they can make a viable coaching business.
Yeah, love that. Great points. Completely agree with all of that. And yeah, consistency is extremely powerful. Love that, Paula. So you touched on it, but I'd like to just get your thoughts on around organic marketing versus like paid ads, right? To initially grow a coaching business. So tell us a bit more about that.
Yeah, I love this question because, you know, when I was running my t-shirt business, I was running a lot with the paid ads and doing things like that. I really think that paid ads has a place in coaching, but you don't need it at the start. In fact, you can start with zero. You can start with zero setup. You can start with zero money with coaching. You don't need any of these bells and whistles, and you certainly don't need ads, because what will happen at the start if you go with ads and you start to invest in that, you won't know enough about you and your niche and your ideal client to be able to really target them. So that's why, you want to bring them in, but you want to bring them in when you're closer to sort of 7 figures rather than along the journey.
Yeah, love that. Completely agree.
Yeah.
It's you can make most of that initially, and then when you want to pour fuel to the fire, right? After, then you can look at that. But it's you want to have a good strategy initially. So I love that, Paula. Really cool. And we talk a lot of business stuff here. But how important is upgrading our mindset as well to having a successful business?
I love this. It's so important. It's one of the most important, because and we say this, but so often we don't do it. On my computer screen that I can see right now, it says think and feel, because think and feel are the two things that I need to visit every single day. I need to think and feel like the business owner and who I want to be, my next level self, where I'm heading. Every single goal that you want, if you think it and feel it, it's going to impact the actions that you take. So first of all, we're going to be thinking about it. Then we're going to feel, if we're thinking good thoughts, we're going to feel great stuff, right? And then we're going to take some great action. We might take small steps, but we'll take some action towards it. And then we'll probably get a positive result from doing that. And it will loop around, because we've got the positive result. We're going to think we're even better. We're going to feel better about it. We're going to take some more action, and we're going to get some better results. And it's just going to loop round and round and round. And if we allow our mindset to go in the opposite direction, then if we're not thinking good stuff, we're not feeling great, we don't take any action, and we don't get great results, and that can spiral down. So it's really important to sort of, I like to do like a bit of an audit on my mind, like, okay, what things are coming up? What things are getting in the way? All right, why did I have those things pop up? I need to address those things, because those things are not going to help me become my next level self. Those things are not going to help me take this business to the next level.
Yeah, awesome points there. Completely agree. And, this transitions well into you being a certified Master NLP, Hypnosis, and Timeline Therapy Practitioner. And, these are some of the tools, obviously, that can help us with upgrading our mindset and helping us with those things that hold us back. So do you want to maybe tell us a little bit more about these coaching tools and how you use them to help your clients as well?
Yeah, I think that's really important. I think like the important thing is that you be your best client. Like you be your best client. I spent a good chunk of my last week having coaching on myself, right? Going through this, making sure that I had a complete breakthrough done on me, so I can be the best coach for my coaches, right? Like, so for my students, you're the number one student, right? You're the best student that you can possibly be, right? So that's the first thing. These tools and techniques that you mentioned that I use, it's all ways to be able to, I suppose, take the emotions and out of events that have happened in the past. Stop taking you back to those events of those story after story. You've probably had like friends, maybe family, or maybe there's someone at work who just keeps on going on about a negative story. And that's the reason why they can't. And that's the reason why they can't. And that's the reason why they can't. We want to change that into how can we move past that? I mean, a great example is like someone in my same position could be like, well, I've got 5 children that I had to homeschool. I can't do anything else, right? Or someone in my same position, my eldest son has 2 disabilities. A lot of the people at his clinic, a lot of the mums just quit. That's it. Whereas my view was, how can I make the best life for him? well, I need to create something massive for him.
Yeah, love that. Really powerful, Paula. And I know, you know, a line that you would also know is the same reason why we can't can be the same reason why we can, right?
So true.
Yeah. And I think everyone just needs to let that sink in a little bit, right? As you know, you could say, you know, I've got the 5 kids, I can't do it. It's like, you know what? I've got the 5 kids, but, you know, to make the best life, I need to, you know, create this business or whatever it is for you, that you do it. So think about that before you have a reason or as an excuse for something. And I think another way is saying as well is it's not always either one. It's like, how can I have both, right?
Yes. Yeah. Like everything that you want is just on the other side of taking that responsibility, coming out of the blame and taking that extreme ownership of where you want to be and where you want to go.
Yeah, love that. Now, everyone likes to show and talk about all the amazing things that happen in business, but a lot of people don't always show, you know, the challenges or the failures, right? That come up along the journey. So, do you want to maybe share one of your sort of biggest business challenges, failures, and how you overcame it as well?
Yeah, sure. Probably the biggest one was me losing my t-shirt business. That was heartbreaking at the time, really heartbreaking at the time. To build something up, I had a team of designers working for me at that point. I couldn't even contact my designers to say, hey, this is all stopped, let's move over to here. I was blocked from all t-shirt platforms as well. I wasn't even able to set up a different business or a different account. It was extreme what happened. And so never ever giving up, even if the vehicle changes. So never giving up on the dream. I didn't go, okay, well, I have to go back to just being in a job now. That's done. I went, okay, well, what's my next thing? Because this has not worked. And I've tried different avenues to make it work and I'm being blocked everywhere. And there was no point, like I just felt like at that point, there's no point playing in this negative space anymore. I need to find a different vehicle. And so just being open to, you know, what is the lessons, what is the learnings, and how can I utilize it? This is not that wasn't even my first business. You know, I had multiple businesses along the way. And it's just playing and working out what works, playing and working out what works.
Yeah, love that. So amazing points there. And yeah, completely agree with that. It's, you know, a line that, you know, one of my coaches uses is don't fall in love with your business necessarily, fall in love with business, right? Because like you said, it could be a different type of vehicle. The business can change, you know, the way how you're delivering that business. You could do multiple things later, right? You could sell that business and do something else at some point. So love business. And the more you love it, and you learn more of these things and you get better at it, then, you know, it doesn't matter what's in front of you, right? You know, you'll achieve it. Yeah,
absolutely.
Love it. So as we're wrapping up here today, Paula, it's been amazing to have you here and share so much awesome value. What one key piece of advice would you give to all of the entrepreneurs watching and listening today?
That if you want something, to just go all in. Stop making excuses. Decide for you and for whoever you're doing it for that there is no excuse. I think of it like I'm an Olympian, you know, they're going for a race or they're training for something coming up, that their sport. They don't go, you know what, today I'm going to sleep in. They don't go, oh, today I can't be bothered. Regardless, they get up 4 years in the making every single morning, probably at 4 a.m. or 5 a.m. to train for one race that they may or may not win at. And so just to commit, and to just take that extreme ownership that you're going all in.
Yeah, love that. Completely agree. That's what it's all about. When you commit, everything happens from there. So love it, Paula. We connected through our networks where I learned about your awesome journey from your business leadership and management career, accounting, to relationship coaching, and now business coaching, where you help coaches make their first 10K month in under 90 days. You're an amazing woman, and I'm sure you'll continue to help coaches start and grow their businesses organically. I'm very grateful that we connected, and I look forward to working with you in the future. So, Paula, how can people find you and get in contact with you?
Best place is through Facebook, and perhaps we can pop a link here. Just on my Facebook profile. Feel free to just direct message me.
Yeah, awesome. Definitely check out Paula on Facebook, Paula Day. She is amazing. I'm sure she's got an amazing energy, bringing in that feminine as well. So thank you, everyone, for watching and listening to this show where we talk about everything on business growth. Please like, subscribe, and leave us a 5-star review. You can find me on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and YouTube as Athin Cassiotis, or visit my website, athincassiotis.com. I completely agree with you, or do I? The only way you'll know is if you tune in next time. So until next time, remember that our business grows when we learn skills and take action using them in spite of fear. So remember to design your growth and results.